fellow owls, to earn Juggernaut 10-man heroic in the Siege of Orgrimmar raid, and of course this is the Boomkin guide. And the one important thing that changes with this fight on heroic is that in the second phase you're gonna be a big sissy and you're gonna hide in the corner for the entirety of the second phase and you're just gonna heal it up. Now let's look at the talent. So Feline Swiftness wins for me on this fight because there is really no use for Displacer Beast or Wild Charge. Okay, Wild Charge is clunky and it is absolutely useless. It will actually hurt you if you're using this on this fight because of the 1 second delay before you disengage. And Displacer Beast, you don't really need to blink out of stuff. You just have to move a couple of yards. So Feline Swiftness is a winner for me. Renewal. Now this talent wins for me because it's another "oh shit, I almost died" buttons. Okay, Ysera's Gift will do more healing overall throughout the entire fight, but having another Save Your Ass button on this fight, especially in 10-man, is really good, okay? And as we all know, if you're dead, you're not doing any DPS, so if something saves you, something like Renewal, which heals you for 30% of your maximum health, you'll be a happy little raider. Now, Force of Nature is highlighted, even though it does less damage than Incarnation on this fight, and there is a good reason for that. Incarnation will actually allow you to do more damage if you get lucky, but if you get unlucky and you get targeted by a lot of stuff when you have Incarnation, you have to move all the time, so you will basically waste your Incarnation. And with Force of Nature, you will do roughly the same amount of damage every time, even if you get targeted by a lot of stuff. So that's why I'm recommending Force of Nature. But if you're feeling lucky, you can use Incarnation and do more damage. And we pick Heart of the Wild because it's Heart of the Wild, and Heart of the Wild is amazing on this fight. And for this fight, you can do one out of two tactics. The first one I like to call the man mode, where you're doing damage in the first phase and in the second phase and you're crazy, or you're doing the sissy tactic where in the second phase you're just hiding in the corner away from the boss and you're just healing it up. That is a common tactic and most guilds use this tactic because they're not insane. And a very common way of executing the second sissy tactic is as soon as Juggernaut becomes stationary and goes into phase 2, everyone stacks up in one spot and everyone gets thrown away by the first shock balls. Now if you do this without any raid cooldowns, everyone will die. The ticking damage on heroic mode is pretty high and the shock pulse itself hits like a bloody truck, okay? People will just die if you don't have any raid cooldowns going on. So you have things like priest bubbles, DK bubbles, devotion auras, and personal cooldowns. But as a Boomkin, you can increase your raid survivability after the actual shock pulse, okay? After everyone's been flung away across the entire arena and they're waiting for healers to start healing again. So here is what I did. As far as cooldowns go, I used Tranquility in the first phase 2 and Heart of the Wild in the second phase 2. Okay, so as soon as first phase 2 began and he became, Juggernaut became stationary, I precasted Tranquility in a way that as soon as I was done with channeling Tranquility, the first shock pulse came in. Okay, people flew away, and instead of being at 20% health and just waiting for healers to start healing, they were at 50% health because Tranquility was ticking on them all the time. The same thing with Heart of the Wild. I just popped it as soon as phase 2 started, and I was throwing Rejuvenation on people, and I made sure I had Rejuvenation on as many people as possible before the first shock pulse. So once again, as people are thrown on the other side of the arena, they're immediately healed, okay? They're not at 10% health, they're at around 40 or 50% health because of the Rejuvenation. And the rest of phase 2, you can't really do damage, so I was hardcasting Healing Touches and keeping Rejuvenation on people. And that increased the survivability of our raid by quite a bit. It felt really awesome to be, a Boomkin there. Because in phase 1 you can do damage, and most people in phase 2 were just standing around, okay? If you're a warlock, you can't really do much in the phase 2 on this fight. So it felt really good to just do DPS in the first phase and then heal like a madman in the second phase, and it's actually really beneficial for your raid. Other than that, this fight is nothing spectacular, okay? You have to do as much damage in phase 1 and as much healing in phase 2 as a Boomkin. You can pop Stampeding Roar when you're going from phase 2 to phase 1, and I would highly recommend it because people can get back in their comfortable positions much faster, which means more DPS, and the boss will die faster. The enrage timer, if you're not doing the man mode tactic, is fairly tight, okay? If you're not horrendously overgeared, you'll be battling with the enrage timer. Now let's talk about the mines, and you should not be really soaking them, okay? Your tanks have more than enough time to soak them, but if something's going wrong and one of the mines is about to explode, you can always jump into bear form with something like Might of Ursa and actually soak it. And the last thing I want to talk about is symbiosis, and once again it's pretty much the same, okay? The best one for this fight is Undying Resolve from a Warlock, then you can have Cloak of Shadows from a Rogue, you can have Anti-Magic Shell from DK, or you can put it on a Shadow Priest so it gets Tranquility and you have more healing in phase 2. Conclusion, it feels really good to be a Boomkin on this fight. Do as much damage in the phase 1 as possible, then increase your raid survivability by a huge amount as you're transitioning from phase 1 to phase 2, then do as much healing as possible in phase 2, and then once again provide some support by popping Stampeding Roar when phase 2 is about to end, so people can get in their comfortable positions and start doing damage as fast as possible. It really feels good and I enjoyed it quite a bit. But that's it for this video. I thank you all for watching and listening. I wish you good luck with downing this boss and I will see you next time. Bye bye.